The Apostle Paul once wrote about a type of harvest that has absolutely nothing to do with fields or crops. It's this incredible idea that connects our everyday actions to the legacy we leave behind. And it forces us to ask a really tough question. What is our life's most valuable income? So let's explore that. Let's just jump right in with a big question. We spend so much of our lives building our careers, our finances, our portfolios. But what if the character you build day in and day out was actually the single greatest inheritance you could ever pass on? Just let that sink in for a second as we dive in. At the heart of this whole concept is a fundamental choice. You can think of it like a tale of two completely different paths. And every single day, in all the small ways, we're choosing which one to walk down. And believe me, they lead to radically different places. On one path, we have what the text calls the acts of the flesh. This is a life that's really driven by our own raw, unchecked self-interest. And you can see it leads to a pretty chaotic, barren landscape. But on the other path, you've got the fruit of the Spirit, which grows out of a life that's connected to something bigger than ourselves. And the result? Abundance, peace. These aren't just, abstract ideas. They are the real, tangible results of what truly motivates us. And Paul doesn't pull any punches when describing the results of that first path. He gets brutally specific. He lists things like discord, jealousy, selfish ambition. He's not talking about some vague, faraway evil. He's describing the very real, very tangible chaos that we've all seen or felt when a life is focused only on itself. And the warning that comes with this path? Wow, it could not be more direct. A life lived this way means forfeiting a spiritual inheritance, what he calls the kingdom of God. But of course, that is not the only path. To really understand the alternative, we need to dig into the real meaning of a single, really powerful word the text uses: fruit. So, when you hear that phrase, the fruit of the Spirit, what does it actually mean? Well, as we're about to see, the original language reveals a much deeper, much more active meaning than you might think. Okay, get this. The original Greek word here is karpo, and its definition is the key to this entire concept. See, karpo doesn't just mean a piece of fruit you'd pick from a tree. It also means the result of your work, the benefit you gain, and get this, even the income you produce through your actions. This changes everything, doesn't it? It means that spiritual fruit isn't some passive gift that just magically appears in your life. No, it's a harvest. It is the direct, tangible reward you reap from the way you live, the way you work, and the way you treat people. So this idea of karpo being a harvested result opens up this fascinating and really practical idea that every action we take is actually producing two completely distinct types of income. The first income is the one we're all very familiar with. It's the material stuff, right? The paycheck, the promotion, the assets we gather. This is the primary, tangible harvest from our work. But at the exact same time, we are also harvesting a second income. This is the spiritual result. It's the character we build while we're doing the work. It's the patience, the integrity, the peace, the relational wealth we create along the way. And this right here, this is the fundamental shift in perspective. A person living by the Spirit doesn't just see this second income as a nice little bonus. No way. They understand that it's infinitely more valuable and more lasting than any material wealth could ever be. So what does this second, more valuable income actually look like? Well, the source material breaks it down into a very specific 9-part character profile. Here's the list straight from Galatians. And it's interesting, it's not described as 9 different fruits, but as one single fruit with 9 distinct characteristics: love, joy, peace, forbearance, which is basically patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Altogether, they paint a complete picture of this divine character. Okay, this is where the idea goes from being theoretical to being super practical. It's time for a quick personal audit, a chance to honestly reflect on which of these two harvests we are actually cultivating in our daily lives. Let's just look at a few of these. For love, the question is, do I treat others with unconditional love? For forbearance, it asks, do I handle tasks with endurance and patience? For faithfulness, am I dependable even in the small things? I'm going to pause for just a moment. Look at this list, pick 1 or 2 that stand out, and just be honest. Rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 5, where 5 means this is absolutely a strength for you. This simple exercise can be really revealing about which harvest we're truly focusing on. And this kind of personal reflection brings us right to the ultimate point of all this. Because this isn't just about our own character during our own lifetime. This is about the legacy we're going to leave behind. The source presents this incredibly powerful contrast. Material possessions, wealth, status, all that stuff is temporary. It fades. But a spiritual legacy, the character and the values that we pass on, that endures for generations. The source material puts it this way, really emphasizing that a legacy built on faith and character is so much more valuable than any material inheritance. I mean, what could possibly be better than giving the next generation the tools to build a life of love and joy and peace? Ultimately, it all comes down to this. The spiritual harvest you reap in your own life becomes the seed that you plant for the next generation. The character you cultivate doesn't end with you. It is the most real and the most lasting inheritance you will ever leave. Which brings us right back to our opening idea. After everything we've looked at, the question remains, and it's a question that only you can answer. What harvest will you leave behind?